Hello everyone, welcome to Australian Transformers Weekly. We are the quintessential Transformers podcast. I don't know if that's going to work for the future, we'll see. Bringing you Transformers news from around the world and across Australia. This is episode 238. We're recording live on a lazy, luxurious Sunday afternoon. It's actually freezing cold in Sydney. This is June 6th, 2021. In this episode, we will be talking about another new Transformer found first in Australia, taking an early look at Big W's toy sale pricing, and there's also going to be a few leaks and upcoming figures getting some in-hand reviews. All that and more is coming up after this. G'day and welcome. I'm Jason, sitting here very snugly in my brand new IDW Rodimus hoodie that we're going to talk about later when it comes to acquisitions time. Joining me this week, we have but one person hosting with me this week. It's Bradley coming to us from Perth. How are you doing over there, sir?
I'm doing all right. Bit cold and a bit but otherwise all right. How you doing?
I am also a bit cold, and I'm not as as you seem to think. Although I have had a few run-ins with bitumen and asphalt over the last couple of days. So I am I do look like I've been through the wars. Therefore, I will be keeping my hands off camera. If I need to do anything, I will just reach out beyond the screen and see how I go. What has been happening this week? Is there anything notable happened over in Perth?
We haven't had any snap lockdowns. I think over East has had a few.
Yes, I will just point out that it's Victoria. It's not just the entire eastern seaboard, but that's okay.
Well, according to the West, it's all just one big East.
Yeah, I know. You guys, once you get over the desert, you're just here be dragons.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Here be dragons and people who take our mining, our hard-earned resources that we get from pulling things out of the ground.
Pretty well.
All right, and enough interstate rivalry. I think we might try and get onto some. Maybe we'll get onto some Transformers news. How do you think? Do you think that might be?
Yeah, I think we can. I think both sides of the country can come together with Transformers talk.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. Let's do it. First up, it has been a couple of weeks since our last episode, so we'll be covering some stories that I think some people might be a little bit sick of hearing about, but we'll see how we go with that. First up, as you can see on screen there, 13 days ago, T-Rex managed to find an Australian release. Now, this is a yet unannounced figure, and I say yet unannounced because Hasbro's had 2 Transformers Tuesday reveals since our last podcast, at which points they could have announced this figure, but they haven't. So yeah, this is a much rumored yet unannounced figure. He is a Target exclusive in the US. He's going to be a US Target red card release, which is a designation we haven't actually seen since the US release of the Generation Selects Red Wing figure during the heady days of Transformers War for Cybertron Siege. Toy World staff have been quoted as saying that stock of this figure is limited, and when it runs out, he's not getting restocked. So, if you do want, what is it? We're calling Megatron the purple people eater, the purple dinosaur. If you want a red dinosaur instead of a purple one, head on out to your Toy World store now and pick him up. If, like me, you live in an area of Australia like me where there are no Toy World stores, your options for picking this guy up might be a little bit more limited. It's kind of weird. We don't have Toy World stores in the greater Sydney area, and so when this kind of thing happens, when Toy World stores get new things, Sydney's a little bit left out. This happened with the first wave of Siege a couple of years ago as well.
I thought Toy World had an approximation. I thought Sydney had an approximation of Toy World, like Mr. Toy World or something.
No, so that's actually a sub. It's a weird thing, right? Toy World is kind of like a weird conglomerate it's made up of multiple stores. A lot of people have assumed that one of the stores in Sydney is actually a part of that, but it's not. So Sydney has Toy Mate, and we have Casey's Toys and Uncle Pete's Toys, but none of them get the same. None of them get the same stuff, although I think Casey's Toys might have Maximal T-Rex as well. But I think one of them is out in Dubbo. I've never been to any of them. Poor me. I live within 3 train stations of Sydney's metro area. So when this kind of stuff happens, no, I get nothing. So it's no wonder that I turn to importing stuff from Asia, because it saves me going out to the suburbs. And I can reveal this guy is out in Asia as well. So Asian retailers are offering for sale, so you can import him if you can't find him at your local. And if stock is in fact as limited as they say, that might be the way that you have to go about getting him in after the next couple of weeks.
Well, here in Perth, we've got Toy World and Toy Mate, but I can tell you one thing: I am not interested in this particular toy. I've got
that was going to be my next question.
I've got the Beast Mode Megatron, and he's amazing. But in comparison, this looks like a prototype of that toy.
Yeah, there's been a lot said about. I'm going to see if I can bring this up larger. There's been a lot said. Oh, that didn't go well. Yeah. Wait, there we go. There we go. There's been a lot said about his very unpainted chest. His chest is just sort of flat grey, and I think Megatron has paint applications in that area, doesn't he? Yeah. Yep. So,
can I get him? He's just over there.
Yeah, go for it. We'll get him and we'll put him up. We can try to get Brad to edit this out, but Brad might not edit this out. We'll see how we go.
I'm back.
Yeah, look at that. Now I'm going to put you up full screen there. So we've got Maximal T-Rex full screen. I'm just going to put you up there so that people can sort of see the difference. Wow, there's a lot more paint on Megatron than Maximal. There's Is there any extra accessories that Megatron comes with that T-Rex might be missing out on as well?
No, they're both just a figure.
Yeah, right. So what I do notice is that T-Rex tends to be a little bit cheaper than a standard leader class figure, and so I wonder if that's sort of a bit of a sign of where they've cheaped out on the paint. So he's not sort of he's not the full price, although he is at Toy World stores. I think he's $95 at a bare minimum, possibly depending on the store that you go to. But importing from Asia, they're pricing him around $80. So he seems to be coming in a little bit cheaper, possibly because there's less paint apps. The other notable thing about T-Rex is that the alternate head that was discovered on a Beast Megatron over in the US a while ago, not happening on this figure. A lot of people thought that the alternate head was going to be going to turn up on T-Rex, but nope, he's got the same head as Megatron.
Yeah, it's just this is like a sort of really out of left field. I mean, I'm pretty sure Beast Megatron has already been painted into T-Rex before, but it's just, I don't know. This is obviously just Hasbro saying, hey, we've got this, we can repaint it into that. It's just very, hang on. I think it might be a dip, because I think this one that we're looking at looks like he's baring his teeth.
No, it's actually just the way the light's reflecting off his face. It is actually the exact same face design. Oh, okay, my bad. It's confused a lot of people looking at this. People are like, oh my god, it's a new face. Nope, it's just a trick of the light.
So I'm not familiar with Maximal T-Rex. I know he is a character, but I'm not familiar with him at all. And Yeah, this
So
is
you
a
got
part.
no connection to the character, so no desire to own him. That seems fair enough. The one thing I will say about the paint applications there, which I'll find out when I get this guy in hand next week or so, it does say underneath this photo from the Reddit user Obfuscate, it says the blue is a shiny metallic color and looks amazing at first glance. So that's something to be said for his paint at least.
Yeah, the blue on his right hand, which is the T-Rex head, that actually does look quite shiny and metallic, but like the blue on his crotch is obviously unpainted plastic. I think also on his other arm it's just plastic, but yeah, on the head. So the beast mode probably is quite vibrant.
Well, so the beast mode is like kind of like red and blue. So like it's, I mean, Megatron's beast mode is pretty vibrant as well,
Yeah, true.
being purple. So yeah.
Mm.
All right, let's move on. While we're talking about things that are due for release, we're also going to get into Kingdom Wave 3. This is a photograph that's circulated in the last couple of days from one of the toy retailers in Asia. Not entirely sure if it was Unrivaled Collectibles or Robo, but so we can see a full complement of. I say full complement, but it's actually not quite the full complement of Kingdom Wave 3 figures. We've got the Deluxes and the Leaders and the Cores, but no Voyagers. So this is because Hasbro's PR kind of screwed up and didn't show us the box designs for Wave 3 figures. This has actually made news. A lot of retailers in Asia, they not like to do this nice little arrangement of things and photograph them and stick it on their Facebook page and just go, hey, this stuff's just arrived, come in and get it. And so this one got posted up on the retailer's page and got grabbed by all the news sites going, hey, look, Kingdom Wave 3's out. And everyone's like, well, that's what the boxes look like, so that's cool. Hasbro PR screwed up when they announced Kingdom Wave 3 and didn't show us the box art. Otherwise, this wouldn't have been news. But what we can see is the deluxes there. We've got Trax, Wheeljack, who is a repack of. I don't think it was Earthrise Wheeljack was from. I think he's actually from Siege. I'm not entirely sure. Plus new molds Scorponok and Wingfinger. And on the core class, we can see we're getting Starscream and Optimus Prime again, but we've also got newbies, a green dinosaur bones called Dracodon, and we've got a classic character coming back for another run in Soundwave. And of course, the big news is in leaders, we've got Ultra Magnus, who is a repaint, and Galvatron, who is brand new. I think it's really cool that 35 years after these figures were first released opposite each other, we're getting Ultra Magnus and Galvatron released in the same shipment again in stores. I reckon it's a nice, neat little touch.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that Galvatron. With one of the articles coming up that we're about to discuss, the price for Magnus will be going down a bit, so that could be of interest. But I've heard not good things about this mold.
For Magnus or Galvatron?
Yeah, no, for Magnus.
Oh, okay. I think it's interesting. I'm looking forward to getting. Oh, wait, I do have him here. Hang on.
Bless you.
Thank you. I do have. I actually do have Magnus here, but I haven't unpacked him. So yeah, that's clearly gone well. So I'm just going to click a couple of things and make sure that I'm using the right equipment. So I mean, Magnus is just a Siege repaint, but I do find that the robot mode looks way more G1 accurate. Looks way more like the figure from the movie, and that's what everyone wants this year, right? Like we want movie anniversary figures.
Mm.
There was a lot. We've joked a lot about how Magnus was killed in Siege in the Netflix series, and we even saw Megatron toying with his head in the first episode of Earthrise as sort of like a alas poor Yorick, where and sort of wondering how can Ultra Magnus come back in Kingdom. The answer is no one cares. Hasbro just wants a G1 accurate Ultra Magnus out there for the movie's anniversary, and why wouldn't you? So yeah, just blur your eyes, turn your head 45 degrees, and just smile and nod and just go, yeah. The original Siege Magnus was a really good mold. I think this cleans up a lot of the issues with that mold in terms of battle damage and not really looking like the G1 Magnus. So yeah, I'm pretty up for it. I do think some elements of the truck design are a little bit weird, but Magnus has had so many truck designs over the years that all you really need is something that looks roughly like his G1 truck design, and you're good, I think.
The only thing I've seen about this mold is, for some reason, like, he is slightly remolded and he has tabs which sort of either prohibit or limit his waist articulation in robot mode.
Ah, okay. Oh well, look, I'll have to get him out after this and have a look. We'll post some photos up later on.
Cool. And also for some reason, am I the only one that thinks it's weird that Magnus doesn't really have a matrix chamber? I mean, you can fit a matrix in him, but you can't, like, open his chest.
No, not really. He's just a soldier. He's not worthy.
Nor was Prime.
Well, yes, no, that's true. And yeah, let's move on, shall we? A note with regarding Kingdom Wave 3 is that the Voyagers, which weren't in that photo, have actually been spotted in the US. And about a couple of weeks ago, actually, Rhinox was spotted in a US Target store. So these figures are definitely on the way out. I'm surprised that for once in the last 6 months, a figure is being released first overseas and not in Australia. I'm not sure what happened. We must have offended people somehow, but yeah, we'll see how. I
think Toy World has jaded us. We're sort of getting used to we're getting used to Australia having the first retail releases worldwide in, like, not a huge retailer shop, but a what's the word I'm looking for?
It is a bit of a boutique store, like Toy World. It's not Toys R Us. It's not a globally recognized brand, but I guess most toy stores are not. But yeah. The one thing I do want to mention about Galvatron is that Galvatron was found in Australia about a month ago, but it was only one, and so I think that what has ended up happening there is that wave was meant to be Ultra Magnus packaged opposite Beast Megatron, and I think it was mispacked. Like there should be tons of Galvatrons out there if it was a proper early release, and I think someone accidentally put Galvatron in a box instead of Megatron, because they're both purple. I reckon it's an easy mistake to make. So I reckon that early release Galvatron was a fluke.
Yeah, because now that you mention it, I've been sort of scouring sightings boards, and no one's mentioned Galvatron.
Absolutely, yeah. There has to be more than one Galvatron out there if it was actually a release. But I think, given that there's only one out there, I think it was an accident. Still, he's out there now, and he will be hitting Australia soon, I think.
Yep. Fingers crossed.
Let's move on. Well, let's talk about something else that is coming up really nice and soon, which is the Big W toy sale. If people are listening internationally, you can probably skip the next 5 minutes. So Big W has an annual mid-year toy sale, which is a good place that parents like to stock up on Christmas presents for the kids at a cheap price, or maybe early birthday presents, which are just things to have around to encourage kids to behave. Now,
yeah.
There's going to be some pretty amazing prices coming up in this. Now, we were just talking about the price of a leader class at $90, $90 to $95. The Big W toy sale is knocking them down to $44. Now, that's for Kingdom leaders. It's got Megatron and Ultra Magnus pictured. That is the cheapest leader that I have seen in a really long time. Even previous year's leaders on like clearance sale for $60 or so overseas. $44 is astonishing. So yeah, we'll see where they end up. The Voyagers are coming down to $39. That's not as major a drop, but coming down from $50 or $49 to $39. still a welcome change. Deluxes are coming down to $27 each, so those are those sort of hover between $29 and $34, possibly up to $39 depending on the store that you're buying from. And the Studio Series Deluxes specifically are coming down to $23 each. So there's going to be a bit of a line split in terms of the prices there. And now we can see. I think there's actually a typo in the catalog there. It says above that it says Studio Series Deluxe, but it's actually Voyagers. $44 each for Studio Series Voyagers, unless they're leaders. They might be. They might be leaders.
I thought there would be leaders because sort of carrying over the Kingdom discount.
No, you're right. Actually, it is there because it says the price after promotion is going to be $88 or $89. So yeah, those are actually leaders. So yeah, that's pretty good. And then above that, there's the Voyagers at $36 each. So some pretty good price markdowns all around coming from Big W. The sale begins. I think it's on the. Is it the 15th?
I think it's the 15th. Is it the 15th online and 17th in store?
Possibly. Yeah, you'll want to have a look at them. Oh, and we've ignored the Cyberverse figures. Anyway, there's also this guy.
Yay!
So we're slightly familiar with this guy, and also my world famous cat is sitting here gracing the table with me as well. So Rodimus Prime is currently in stores for $150. During the Big W toy sale, he will come down to $110. That is a much more palatable price, and if you recall, my verdict on him at the time was basically, well, he's definitely a Commander class figure, but whether Commander class is actually worthy of the $150 price point is an interesting question. At the time, we thought that the price for this guy on sale would be $120, not $110. I say at $110, that's $20 above a leader class figure. Go and take it. Go and get it. It's a no-brainer. He is one of the best figures in the toy line in terms of paint applications, articulation, just value for money in terms of the stuff that you get for him. Especially at $110, less so at $150. So if you can find him on sale at the Big W toy sale, my advice would be to go and get it.
Well, there have been plenty of reports on sightings boards saying that some Big W stores are going to have like 20 odd Rodimus Primes. So, hopefully there will be that stock will sort of be frozen until the the sale starts.
It's funny. We hear different things from different stores, right? Like, We've heard from some people that Big W stores were never meant to put Rodimus out before the toy sale. Conversely, I have received a phone call from my local store telling me they have more stock in. So if they were never meant to put it out, they've now restocked it. So something's going on there. But so Rodimus is everywhere. I think now a lot of people are sort of sitting back and just going, well, I can wait a week and a half and maybe go for a bit of a hunt and see if we can find him on sale. So I think people might be wising up to the sale price, especially now that this catalogue image is out.
I was just wondering, do you think this is to make up for Jetfire and Skylinks with regards to stock availability?
I think Big W's definitely learned its lesson in terms of stock availability for Skylinks. I think anecdotally we've heard that from people in the know that Big W wanted to avoid the Skylinks situation with this year's Commander class. So I think getting them into stores and getting them out on shelves early at full price. I think Skylinks started turning up in stores maybe 2 or 3 days before the sale last year. There was a point where everyone was really nervous about whether or not it was actually going to make it because we'd seen the catalogue images but never seen it in store. So I think Big W's definitely wised up a little bit on that front.
And I don't think Jetfire really saw an Aussie retail release, did he?
No, he didn't. Jetfire it remains elusive for a lot of Australians. I'm really surprised. So there is a listing for the guy on Target's website still, and I have heard from someone who claims that they ordered it from that listing when it first went up and they actually received the product, but it's never been in stock since then, and you end up having to jump through a few hoops to get him. You either import him, or you wait for the figure to come down to a palatable price of around $150, $160 on Amazon Australia. Zavi had him at $138, I think, plus a few dollars shipping, which sort of comes back up to about the $150. Jetfire is gettable, but you either have to play a long game or be prepared to pay a little bit extra for him. That is, of course, to say we do believe the rumor that there will be a repaint of Jetfire coming later this year in the Shattered Glass line. So we are expecting to see an evil Autobot Jetfire coming out in that line later on.
It's sort of interesting if you look at like the brief history of Commander class toys. You sort of see like Hasbro is learning along the way.
I think the Commander class line is actually really interesting because there's been 3 releases and none of them are like the other in any way. One was a huge figure, the other was a combination of 2 figures, and now this one is very much a premium version of products that are already in the line. So Rodimus himself is not really larger than the existing Voyager class figures, but he's got so much more packed into him. So like, I think you're right. Like Hasbro's learning what they can and can't fit into this price point as things go.
Yeah.
Let's move on. The toy sale will hit in another week or so's time. Let's talk about these guys. We are talking about the new Battle Across Time set that was revealed this week, which is containing an Earth mode Sideswipe and Maximal Skywarp. Now, Hasbro had a big Fan First Friday event a couple of weeks ago, and then they've revealed more Transformers products every Tuesday since. So, thanks, guys. It was really nice of you to announce everything all at one time.
Yeah, what about T-Rex?
Yeah, well, so T-Rex has still not actually been revealed by Hasbro or announced, even though he's now in people's collections. So they've been doing a bang-up job of this year. So what we are looking at in this set is a repaint of Airazor as Maximal Skywarp. Remember that not everyone was a good guy or a bad guy in all iterations of the franchise. And the much-anticipated and long-awaited Earth mode Sideswipe is finally here. So he is a much brighter coloured version of Sideswipe. He's brighter than the Siege version, and has a much more like a Lamborghini alt mode, but he's still not an officially licensed Lamborghini. But that's okay. We can forgive that. Now, Maximal Skywarp is perhaps the I say perhaps the more interesting of the figures, but he's certainly the one that's captured a lot of attention. Some people have been pretty disappointed by the Earth version of Sideswipe, but we'll get to that soon. Skywarp is Eagle and is one of the good guys in this.
Sorry, Jason, you just had a bit of a lag hiccup there.
Oh, fair enough. So Skywarp is a bald eagle and is a good guy in this iteration of the franchise. So he's a repaint of Airazor. Airazor's mold has been very well received so far by people who have been picking it up in Kingdom Wave 2. So it's it's nice to see a repaint into another character that people have been looking forward to as well. There's a bit of some detail on the bald eagle mode there, and a close up on the robot mode showing the re-sculpted and redesigned head that is in place for this figure. And you can actually see that there's 2 beaks in on this mode. I'm not sure if Airazor actually has that trait as well or not. I expect they do.
Probably does. She's her robot mode head is just a bird head as well.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the Maximal Skywarp?
I'm not familiar with Maximal Skywarp.
I believe Maximal Skywarp is actually from the Japanese Beast Wars 2.
Yeah, most likely, and I've still yet to actually see that. I don't even know if it exists on DVD. But I would like to add that to my holy grail of visual media. Yeah, it's an interesting repaint, and
It certainly is.
Yeah. I'm not too familiar with this. Is weird because both of these Battle Across Time packs have sort of had odd repaints of Beast toys with sort of sought after and long rumored Earth mode. toys.
It is interesting though. It depends who you talk to about that, because the Earth mode toys have both sort of gone down like a lead balloon in some corners of the fandom. People have looked at Mirage and just gone, well, you haven't put a shoulder cannon on him, blah blah blah. Don't really like that. And people are looking at Sideswipe and just going, is that it? Is that all you've got for an Earth mode retool? Let's move on, and we will have a look at Sideswipe. So Sideswipe is the same mold as Siege. He's been retooled as Hasbro has been doing a lot over the last few years. Actually, no. You know what? That might not necessarily be true. He does carry some differences, but I'm pretty sure it's mostly a Siege retool. We'll see. So he's got. I feel he's got a nicer color palette than the Siege. Siege was very dark, if you recall, back in the halcyon days of 2019, before we had lockdowns and working from home. They put out figures with darker palette with a lot of battle damage on them. I'm really glad to sort of see that this guy is sort of battle damage free. He's got much more vivid whites and a much more base color red, and he does in fact have a shoulder 5mm port, unlike Mirage. And of course, he's pretty much just as articulated as the original Sideswipe release. That is a very pretty alt mode there. He shares a lot of the roof and the windscreen design with Sunstreaker, but without that cut right in the middle of the windscreen. So it's interesting to sort of see where some of the differences lie between the molds. And of course, he's got a 5mm port on the side to hold weapons as well.
Yeah, I'm sort of I really like the look of this toy, but at the same time, I think I'll have to see if when Daria was on last, she wanted Grimlock, I wanted Mirage. I have to see if she wants Skywarp, and I'll take Sideswipe. Yeah,
see if you crazy kids can split a pack between yourselves. Yeah, see what happens. I gotta say, I really like the palette on this version of Sideswipe. I feel like, I mean, it could just be the light under which he's photographed, but I feel like the red color is more vivid. I really like the details in the face, and I really like the eyes on this as well. I feel like the eyes are popping really well in this photo.
I just really like, because I've got Siege Sideswipe, but I got to admit, I can't remember if he has an Autobot logo on his chest.
Let's find out.
Okay.
T-Formers very handily put up a comparison photo showing the difference between Siege Sideswipe and the Battle Across Time 2-pack, and for some reason the animation model from G1. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so we can see that there is definitely a logo on Siege, but it's not. I don't how different size, but it seems the one on Battle Across Time seems to be a lot more vibrant.
Yeah, I feel like the logo might actually just be more the white outline on the same color plastic than anything else.
Yeah. Do you think the chest/hood is a remold, or is it just got black paint?
No, he's definitely remolded. Like you can see that the design doesn't have the horizontal grills on him, and the headlights are much more straight aligned with the ground, whereas everything's on a bit more of an angle for the Siege version. I think the Siege version's very clearly got more rounding on the edges. But yeah, it's a pretty close call, but I do like the brighter palette on this version of Sideswipe.
Yeah, this has sort of won me over a bit more. If I can hunt down a Mirage and a Sideswipe, I'll be a very happy chappy.
Yeah, there is a weird point. I'm just going to go back to the previous verse. There's this weird sort of place where there's a chunk of black, and I wonder if this is actually something that they've done to avoid any legal issues with Lamborghini. And they're like, well, Lamborghini wouldn't have a giant piece of black in the middle of their vehicle mode, so we're clearly not copying them.
Have like an obvious disruption to make it not look like an entire complete piece. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
But
Yeah,
looking at the comparison, it's also there on. It was also there on the Siege mold as well. This black chunk there.
Yeah, but that's
The doors have been retooled a little bit as well.
That's his shoulder joint. So I was wondering maybe they didn't paint it because rubbing together, but at the same time, yeah, it could be to avoid legal hassles.
I suspect you're correct. I think it's more like to avoid any rubbing issues. But I do think that it's a little bit funny.
There is another thing that completely clears them of any plagiarism. It's the fact that there's no spoiler.
Yes, this is true as well. Although I'm sure that our good friend Non-F and every single person on the planet with a 3D printer will be taking a look at this very obvious slot here where you can tab something in there to add a spoiler on there, or they might build something that actually hooks into the 5mm port. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. Also, actually, quite incorrect. I quite incorrect of me to state that the 5mm port is new, because there it is on the rear of the Siege version as well.
Yep, and he's got one on top still, and same. Yeah. It's weird though, because the Battle Across Time does have brighter colors, but on my screen at least, the Siege and the animation model have similar reds compared to Siege. No, compared to Battle Across Time. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right. It could, like, cartoons age and get graded and restored and things like that. Like, it's hard to tell. We heard from Hasbro about picking colors from the still frames of the movie a couple of weeks ago when they were talking about the new Studio Series 86 release, and they were saying that they would use the restored version of the DVD, but then they found that some of the colors were different between different releases of the movies. They're like, well, this one is our empirical source, and that's the one that we're going to go with. So yeah, off you go.
You can't win either way.
No, you can't. Let's go from Sideswipe to the next most obvious story, which is going to be repaints of Sideswipe, because Siege Sideswipe is one of the most repainted and retooled, actually less retooled figures of the last couple of years. And once they've got an Earth mode variant of him ready to go, of course they're going to repaint it. So we are seeing a leak from JC Prime 17, who is a leaker that does not seem to put a foot wrong, that there is going to be a Kingdom Deluxe Earth mode red alert, which says it's going to be a Walgreens exclusive in the US. Now, Walgreens exclusives over the last few years have been Titan's Return Brainstorm, I believe, and Siege Ratchet. I'm not sure if there was a Power of the Primes Walgreens exclusive. I think that line was...
No, I think it was just those two.
Siege Ratchet and Earthrise Blue Streak, also a Walgreens exclusive. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't get them. Those figures have popped up in other markets around the world. Given Australia's track record of releases this year, I would hope that this exclusive will come to Australia. But if it doesn't, you know that you'll be able to get it from retailers all across Asia. It'll be on Amazon. It'll be on eBay. Things like that. So it's not going to be that hard to get, I think.
Silly question, but with regards to these exclusives, because I know that the Jason Gateway's been having not issues, but a bit of a struggle filling out Blue Streak orders. Do they actually make less of these toys?
It's hard to say. I mean, we'll talk about Blue Streak in a bit, right? But so it's hard to say what they do, because I think by making something exclusive to a particular retailer in the US, in order to do that, that retailer has to place quite a sizable order for that figure. Now, if we look at recent history, so Runabout, pretty hard to find. Thrust, pretty easy to find if you're importing and looking around Asia. However, Blue Streak stock is starting to dry up. I have very prominently gone to a lot of retailers around Southeast Asia, and I'm like, do you have any Blue Streaks? And they say yes. I'm like, I will take them all, thank you. And then I go and I ask a few weeks later, and they're like, yes, we've got more. Cool, I'll take them all again, thanks. And so we've imported a lot of Blue Streaks over the last year, but it's it's hard to say whether or not that stock is produced in the same numbers. It's starting to dry up now, but so is a lot of other stuff. So like a lot of things that were released last year, and there's my cat deciding to walk across the desk. A lot of things that were released in the last year are starting to become a little bit scarce now, and so yeah, it's okay. You can sort of expect that to happen with things that have been in market for a year, I think. And I did find a bunch of these. So Blue Streak was not released in the UK, but I did find they suddenly turned up on a UK website at a discount price. So I grabbed a bunch, and then I sold a few of them off to people in the group, and then I was like, well, that's been popular. I'm going to reorder them. So I placed another order, and they emailed me back, and they're like, sorry, we're out of stock. So that's why I've had trouble restocking them, because I already cleaned out every other retailer that I deal with. And then I tried to restock on these ones coming from the UK and got a no. And then just this week, I've located a couple more units coming from Malaysia. So they're definitely around. So I wouldn't be too concerned about not being able to find this guy. I think he'll be pretty gettable. But whether or not you can get it at the same price as a regular retail release, or if you'll have to jump through a couple of hoops, we'll see. Amazon Australia has been really good at getting everything this year, although I'm not sure that they have T-Rex. So yeah, the only way we'll really find out is what happens when this actually gets officially released. It's according to JT Prime, it's got an August 2021 release date, which is actually, I think, well before the Battle Across Time set. I think the Battle Across Time set is actually due for release in December. So if that's the case, this will be the first release of the Earth Lambo-ish mold. And we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I got so I made peace with myself with regards to Siege, Sideswipe, and Red Alert, because I thought, yeah, they're not exactly Earth mode, but they'll do. But now that I've seen these Earth modes, it's sort of like I'm literally on the fence about whether I should get these or not.
A lot of people did decide. Look, I don't know what they're going to do for an Earth mode version of of this figure, and like it's so close to a modern supercar design in Siege anyway. But you know, there's sort of the slightly weird air intake placement, which is not quite where we expect them to be placed on Earth cars. So like that's the Alien Siege version. But goodness me, that Earth mode car looks fantastic. There you go. There's your 1 o'clock alarm.
There's my alarm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have my meds.
All right. There we go.
All good. So, Jason, are you interested in these guys?
I am very interested in. I'm very interested in Sideswipe. I'm less interested in the Maximal. So
yeah,
that's pretty much how things go for me.
Yeah. How about Red Alert? Do you like the Red Alert obvious repaint from Sideswipe, or are you not a Red Alert fan?
You know, I it's really hard to say, right? Like I was actually, when you were saying that you tracked down Red Alert and Sideswipe in Siege, I was like, do I have Red Alert in Siege? I'm not sure if I do, but then I'm pretty sure I actually do. So can't quite tell. Yeah. We do have a comment there saying the Earth mode is not enough for me to buy it at recommended retail price. Fair enough too. Whether or not it comes down for that on sale, I don't know. The pack is an Amazon exclusive, and I think the Amazon exclusive packs tend to stay where they are on price. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Amazon exclusive pretty much means not affected by sales.
It's entirely possible. I guess the question the question to Jason was, did he mean Sideswipe or did he mean Red Alert? So being like Red Alert is probably something that can be affected by sales because it'll just be a regular retail release. But yeah.
Yeah, you say, well, I mean, we say regular retail, but at the same time, it's still an exclusive.
Yes, but it's something. So Amazon exclusives are Amazon exclusives worldwide, with some exceptions. Whereas a Walgreens exclusive in the US just ends up at every other retailer everywhere else. Well, I mean, around Asia, they'll all get it in and sell it anyway. So
Yeah, I was going to say, because I don't think Australia have seen any of the Walgreens in regular stock, like Brainstorm or Ratchet.
no, but I'm hoping that with Amazon Australia being more likely to get these in the future, I'm hoping that we'll see these things come to market in Australia, at least in a way that we can get it, even if we have to order it online.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be nice for once to be able to easily access a Walgreens exclusive item without sort of having to,
Jump through hoops.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Let's take one more look at the packaging as well, because there's a couple of interesting things to point out about this set. This is the first set to be released in the last 3 years, so since War for Cybertron began, with a wedge on the right hand side of the box. It's the opposite to the normal War for Cybertron wedge design, and part of it is because the artwork sort of fits together. So you can see a general sort of link there between the packages for the currently revealed sets. But the other thing that sticks out to me about this is that these are both good guy sets.
Yep.
We've got excuse me. We've got Grimlock, Mirage, Skywarp, and Sideswipe, and they're being sort of set upon and besieged by an obvious Seeker Jet, an obvious Dinosaur, some Pterodactyls, a Waspinator, and a Scorponok. Now, Hasbro's press release specifically calls out Scorponok as being in hot pursuit of the good guys. So I think we're going to see probably 2 more sets in the Battle Across Time collection. I think there'll be Decepticon and Predacon sets. So, yeah.
It's weird though, looking at this art, like they're all firing sort of towards the foreground, yet they're being attacked from the background.
Yeah. I mean, it's dramatic license, but
Yeah, and also I was wondering when they had this like originally, and they cut it down the middle. They're like, oh shit, we've got Skywarp's wing suck in there. God damn it, you should have put more space there.
Yeah,
now it's going to be leaks and speculation as to what it is.
I feel like Hasbro might not have worried about that. I mean, there's a very clear Seeker Jet and a Dinosaur on the left of the box for Maximal and for Grimlock and Mirage, and there's a very clear Scorponok on the right of the Skywalk and Sideswipe box. So I think what we're probably looking at there is going to be I wonder if it's going to be another Dinobot retool paired up with one of these guys, plus Scorponok, Waspinator, and hopefully a Seeker Jet. We'll see how we go.
You never know. I mean, it's... Yeah, I mean,
just
I gotta
because
admit,
it's in the artwork doesn't mean it's definitely coming.
Well, yeah. Also, at the same time, these team-ups are just completely... Like, I don't think
they're repaints of available molds.
Well, that, and also the fact that I don't think anyone would have ever guessed these characters.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, we have had some questions of how some of these, predicted Earth mode figures would fit into the Kingdom line. Given that we've already at Wave 3 of Kingdom, we're probably only likely to get to Wave 4. And so, where are all the Earth mode figures going to come from? Well, here we go. There's two new remolds revealed here. They don't necessarily have to go into the regular retail Kingdom lines, so there's definitely scope for how these make it into the product line. This is it's sort of like bonus waves in a way. Yeah,
except they sort of have some of the more hardcore collector desirable toys, like the Earthrise toys. Earth mode toys.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see how we go. We'll see whether or not people end up buying the set and splitting it, as you might be doing, or if people end up buying it and keeping them both, or just keeping.
Which side are you on, Jason?
I don't know. I don't know. I am quite famously not that interested in beasts. So
Well, yeah, we know that.
yeah,
But you did like that Sideswipe.
I like the Sideswipe. I like the Mirage. I'm going to get them, but I don't know what
Mm.
I'm going to do with the rest of the sets. So we will see. I also don't feel it's necessary to keep retail boxes. So, like, I don't really need to. I don't need to keep the box. So I also don't really need to keep the other figure as well. So I don't know. I'm conflicted. We'll see.
You haven't got any like nieces or nephews?
Oh, I do. So yeah,
There you go.
maybe they'd appreciate me offloading.
You could be the cool
Transformer
uncle.
to them. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's could definitely do that. Let's move on. There's been another product reveal in the last couple of weeks that we're only going to talk about this guy quickly because we actually talked about him last episode because he was leaked, but we are looking at the Voyager Artfire figure now. Artfire is a repaint of Inferno or Grapple or whichever mold you think came first. He's a very nice white and red color with a blue windscreen and lights, and he comes with a Target Master. Now that does make him slightly more expensive than a regular Voyager release, but he's also so pretty. Now we did see this leak a few weeks ago. It has since been made official in a very matter-of-fact fashion by the Transformers Instagram account, and it was followed by a press release from Hasbro going, "Yep, this is a thing. There you go." And I believe he's already available on Amazon Australia and was already available on Amazon Australia. I think he's about $78, which kind of accounts for the price difference of a Voyager plus a Battle Master. So Artfire. Is Artfire a figure that you'll be looking to add to your collection, Bradley?
I'm kind of leaning towards no, because I've got the Milling Publishing one, and that had two Target Masters. At the same time, though, this really is a good mold. I've got Grapple. My friend did find Inferno for me, but I haven't picked it up yet, and I am hoping for a hauler of this mold, but I think I'll be trying to keep my Artfire as a separate mold, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, fair enough. So that's an interesting question. If they do hauler, does it make Artfire more desirable in wanting to complete the set?
No.
I'm
not that OCD when it comes to that sort of set mold completion thing.
Fair enough. I do wonder if we're ever going to see a hauler ever again. He's not. So hauler is not one of the Fun Pub figures that Hasbro seems intent on replacing. He was an e-hobby repaint. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Corey agrees with me that hauler would be nice to see, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
Wasn't Deep Cover and Tiger Track e-hobby?
Yes, they were.
There is precedent, but
there certainly is. I mean, look, precedent and everything sort of hinges on companies doing things in a consistent fashion instead of just doing things that are cool. So, who knows? Who knows whether there's space for one more use of that mold in the release window? We'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, Hasbro saying, no, we've got enough repaints of this mold. I don't think that'll ever happen. But at the same time, they haven't released like every single iteration that you can get from molds, I guess.
No, they haven't yet. They've been restrained on some figures and not on the others. We're certainly getting a lot of Seekers. We're still getting Siege Seekers a couple of years later in different forms. The Sparkless Seeker for Netflix is the latest. So there's definitely plenty of space for them to reuse these molds. I would also not be surprised to see these molds get reused over the next few years as Gen Selects as well. I don't think they need to happen in the same year that they're released.
Yeah, that's a good call. I mean, yeah, like you said, we're still getting Tetrajet releases, so we'll probably, if we do get a hauler, it might be a couple of years from now. You never know.
It could be. Yeah.
But
right.
When we were looking at this picture earlier, it was like, this is the picture we saw a couple of weeks ago with the blue tack, except they've photoshopped the blue tack out and they've mirrored the image.
Yes, they have. I'm not entirely sure if it was exactly this image or not, but I do recall seeing a big blob of blue tack under this foot. But yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
clearly they've decided that it looks better that way. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Artfire is I think he's due in September, I believe.
Is he in your must-have list?
He's in my order list, but I don't know if he's in my keep list, right? Because I've already got masterpiece versions of all these guys on the shelves behind me, and so I don't know if I need the masterpiece versions and the retail versions. I do have Inferno. I haven't got Grapple. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get Grapple, and yeah, so I do have Artfire on order, but whether or not I keep him, it's going to be an interesting question.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that many of these, well, I'd say many, I think there's only be a few reissues of Artfire, is they don't have like the gold Japanese text that the G1 toy had.
Yes.
So
this is in fact, I think only the third release of Artfire. The G1 was the first. The United version, I think you said you've got, is the second.
Million Publishing,
Million Publishing, yes. Yeah, the Million Publishing was a sort of an exclusive version of the United one, because they did Inferno and Grapple in that mold as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting. We'll see how he goes, shall we?
Indeed.
Now we are running close to time, so we'll go through the next couple of stories in a bit quickly. Kingdom Tracks, we mentioned Kingdom Tracks earlier in the show. A Wave 3 Deluxe is nearly upon us, and we are seeing leaks this week of what looks like a Kingdom Road Rage. It does not look like it's tracks redone or recolored. This definitely looks like it's a real physical copy of Road Rage done in red with blue wings and I think a slightly updated head sculpt from Tracks as well. The story on TFW says that it's reported to be an upcoming Target exclusive. That might make it more or less desirable or harder to get, but we will see. We will see how it goes. So, Bradley, is Tracks in your to get list, and would a Road Rage repaint also feature there?
Tracks is definitely in my update list because I think the last one was Reveal the Shield with the tribal sort of painting on the bonnet. This one looks really good. This Road Rage, possibly. I think the closest thing I've got is Shattered Glass. I forgot his name. Tracks. Shattered Glass Tracks.
So the Shattered Glass Tracks was just it's
just
Tracks,
a Road Rage. Yeah.
Well, it's Road Rage, but it was red Tracks according to the bio.
Yeah, pretty much. But also, this photo looks weird. It looks like a non-Transformers fan has it, and it also looks like a prototype because of the legs and the arms and everything. It just
I feel like this is one of those things where it's a photo that's come from someone in a factory somewhere. I'm surprised that this wasn't taken like in the background of a toilet or something in the factory, but who knows? I'm actually trying to figure out what this white thing on the above on the background is. I don't know what the background actually is.
The background looks like it's either a dashboard or like the back of one of those really old TVs, that has like the really big back from like the 80s and 90s.
I feel like it could be some kind of a shipping crate as well, or something. But yeah, it's hard to tell. This also to me looks soft, like it's actually a screen. It's either a screen grab from a video, or it's been taken with a cheap phone.
You being the photograph purist, you'll probably say it's a cheap phone.
Well, I think it's possible it is a cheap phone because it's a portrait mode shot, so it's very much someone grabbing a figure, putting it in front of them, and taking a photo with their phone without let's flip it into landscape or anything like that. So the phone's obviously not quite focused, so that's why I think cheap phone or video screen cap and crop. But yeah, I don't know.
Yes, either way. I think the white thing is just like a bit of like paper or something, packaging just spilt out. Yeah,
it's possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kingdom Road Rage looks like she's on her way. Now let's very quickly go to Masterpiece news. There's been a couple of new figures of Masterpiece MP52 Starscream have come out this week. I just wanted to put this one up because it's always funny to point out a Gerwalk mode in Starscream figures. And there's this latest pick, and oh my goodness, doesn't it look pretty? I am really, really into this new Seeker mold.
Yeah, it looks interesting. I'm just like the chest cockpit looks like it's bulging out, and the head looks huge.
I think there's been lots of complaints from various third parties over the head design and head size. So I think in the cartoon, I think the head was pretty big. So I'm pretty happy to see them do that. I really like the head sculpt on him. Like I think it's got lots of lines and bumps and ridges and stuff in all the right places. The weapons and everything look maybe a little bit flat, but that seems fine to me. I'm not really too fussed about that. I see what you mean about the chest sort of looking like it's bulging out, but I think that's also possibly just some cartoon proportions. The legs look just amazingly shaped and angled to sort of look like they're from the cartoon as well. So I'm pretty happy. I've got all three of these guys coming in. They are all coming out in the space of about 6 months. So yeah, looking forward to it. I think Starscream's actually very, very, very soon as well.
Look
at that jet mode.
So that makes me think that the chest is a fake cockpit.
I believe it's been said that yes, the chest is in fact fake. If you look at the chest design there, you can see there's no line through the cockpit, but there is one in alt mode, and the see-through color is slightly different.
Yeah. So is this like the official mold, or is this still like a prototype?
Interesting question. It is said to be a color sample, and I'm pretty sure that these we've seen these sort of photos on this sort of metallic look background before with certain leaked products as well. So I would say they're definitely not official photos.
Yeah, it's just you were saying like the weapons look a bit flat, so I was wondering if maybe this is still unpainted prototype territory.
It's possible, but I think this late into the game, like the figure's due for release in the next month or so. I think we're probably looking at nearly final things, and also like I'm pretty sure the guns were just flat grey in the cartoon.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So you're really looking forward to this guy since you've already got him and his mold mates pre-ordered?
I certainly am. I would also like to add that the audience is also with me. Michael Carter says he likes it, and Jason Reddit also says they are lovely, lovely figures. So I totally agree with you, gentlemen.
They really do look amazing. It's just I'm not a masterpiece collector guy, but these pieces, like if I saw them IRL, I would really like to have a tinker around with them. Yeah,
fair enough too. Really interestingly, it looks like there's some pins through the weapons as well. So maybe there's more to those weapons than meets the eye. Maybe there's something that happens there in their transformation as well.
Yeah, it could be. Has it been said if this guy comes with accessories like a Megatron gun or anything, or?
He does come with a lot of accessories, but I'm not sure if a Megatron gun is one of them. Off the top of my head, I can't quite recall. So, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, he looks really good. I like the I don't know if it's just me, but the biceps sort of look a bit like big and the hands look a bit small, sort of like it's been indulged a bit.
I think that's pretty much the cartoon aesthetic as well.
Yeah.
I quite like that. I'm also really interested to see what happens with the hands on these. Like I've been big into hands for the last few weeks and Masterpiece releases. If you recall, I was very, very into the hands on Rodimus Prime, and that's a regular retail release. These hands look pretty damn good. It almost looks like the fingers are possibly articulated. I don't know.
It looks like sort of like the Rodimus one with the index finger being individual and the other three sort of being pinned together.
It's possible. So the left hand looks like that, but the right hand looks like there's individual hinges. I don't know. Well, let's have a look and see when it comes out, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, nearly done. A couple of quick stories. It has been revealed that Season 4 of Transformers Cyberverse, aka the upcoming TV movies, is apparently going to hit Netflix later this year in November 2021. Very little news other than that, but we have been wondering what was going to happen to these as they're sort of switching from individual episodes to a TV movie format for Cyberverse. So looks like Netflix gets its hands on some more Transformers content, and I'd have to say it's probably I'd probably much rather see more Cyberverse on Netflix than more War for Cybertron. What do you think?
I'll admit I don't think I've seen any of the Cyberverse stuff. Has this been out for like a couple of years? And it started off with like Bumblebee and Windblade.
That's the one. Yeah.
I think I've seen like the first couple of episodes of it, and then I see like coming up on YouTube all the time, and I was like, is this official or has it been ripped off? But yeah, I'm not.
So
heavily invested.
It has actually been. So it has been basically released on YouTube by Hasbro for the last few years, and broadcast in various markets around the world. But you've been able to get them on YouTube fairly reliably. Now, the interesting thing with that is that apparently it looks like they've sort of started to take them down from YouTube. So it's possible that they're going to move the entire series onto Netflix. So I mean, I'm okay with it being on Netflix as long as it's somewhere that people can watch it. But yeah, so when Cyberverse ostensibly was apparently done with season 3, like there was a lot of us were pretty sad about it. But I'm pretty happy to see it continue with season 4, even if it's in the form of movies. Season 3 took the series to some really interesting places. They started exploring parallel universes and stuff. So it was pretty cool. So yeah, I'm really happy for it. So yeah. All right. That'll be something that we're probably going to start seeing some previews of next year. Also, notably, Netflix has a Geek Week thing coming up this week where they're going to preview some of their upcoming stuff. They might preview Kingdom, they might preview Cyberverse. Let's wait and see.
Indeed.
Finally, we'll turn our attention to some Fans Toys news. We don't often talk about a lot of third-party stuff on the show. It's such a quagmire with so many things to talk about.
Giggity.
Yeah, exactly. I put this in because I've been acquiring Fans Toys mini bots, and so this guy is a new Fans Toys mini bot, so I'm probably going to get him. We are looking at Rig, aka Not Huffer, and he is a nice Fans Toys-esque upscaling of the original G1 mini bot / cartoon design for Huffer. He looks pretty nice. It's also worth remembering that Huffer has had a really nice release this year in deluxe form in Kingdom as well. So I think this sort of borrows some of the Kingdom design elements as well, and sort of turns him into a masterpiece minibot. It's due for release either later this year or very early next year. I think it might be November, December. It has been a while. It's been a while since we saw a reveal of a new minibot. Spindrift 2.0 was revealed a long time ago, and in the meantime, we got three minibots from Fans Toys. So it'll be nice to see some new minis come up.
So will this guy be replacing your Kingdom Huffer?
Well, Kingdom Huffer just sort of sits here on my desk as something that I fiddle with, and he's not really on display, and I don't know if he's really ever likely to be. So I figure that display figures are probably more likely to be masterpieces and other big figures of that ilk. So I would say that this guy's more likely to go on display than the Kingdom version.
Fair enough.
We'll see.
Is that a Optimus Prime trailer in the background, or is that a separate?
Yes, indeed. Fans Toys has cheekily hooked him up. I'm pretty sure that this is hooked up to MP44's trailer. So yeah, as it's very much a case of, anything you can do, we can do as well, because maybe not necessarily better, but when Hasbro revealed Kingdom Huffer, they showed him towing Optimus Prime's trailer from that 1 5-second scene in the cartoon where he did the same.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just weird. Like, we've just got like an official Huffer, and everyone, a lot of people are really excited about this, and then like a third party company is just like, hey, we've got a Huffer 2 coming out, or not Huffer coming out. It's just, I don't know, weird timing for it.
I find there's a lot of interesting timings that they could be coincidental, but they're probably not when it comes to a lot of figures. And you get this from Hasbro as well. Like, let's not forget that there is a Masterpiece Jetfire coming just like 2 years after the Siege Jetfire, and there's going to be a repaint of Siege Jetfire this year as well. So I think the release of particular characters in particular lines is no coincidence, and I think they drive up interest in the character. So remember, we got Earthrise RC and Masterpiece RC in the last year as well. So yeah, I think it's not. Like I said, I think it's not a coincidence. So, yeah.
Well, it's not so much Masterpiece and a regular line. It's just like an official toy and a third-party toy being released so close together.
I think one begets the other still as well. As there's interest in the Kingdom Huffer, I think people sort of will see that and just go, yeah, we can do our own third party. Huffer has been done a few times by third parties. Like Fanstoys is very late to the party with this release, but I've been very impressed with their other releases. So, yeah.
All right. I'm looking at this photo. I'm like, is this real or is this a render?
I'm pretty sure that this is real, because the rocks.
The leg looks real, but the chest and head looks like a render.
They look very shiny, and a lot of Fanstoys figures are very shiny with the finish on these. So, look, the renders these days are so good that you can't really tell. You have to get the figure in hand and see if you can actually pull off this mode with that lighting as well. But I think it's pretty real.
Yeah.
All right, that is about it for news for the week, and so with that, it's time to kick out the screen share and return us to our 2-up, and we will briefly talk about acquisitions, because I say briefly because we don't have any, do we?
No, so last time I said my friend found Huffer for me. He has since found Inferno and Air Razor, but I've yet to actually pick them up from him.
Yes, fair enough too. I'm trying to figure out if I can actually. I'm going to do this. Just give me a sec.
Yeah.
There's the one acquisition that I can talk about this week. That is Kingdom Ultra Magnus. Looks very, very nice, resplendent in his box. Now, this was a good price on Amazon. I think he was about $65, and it really pays to keep an eye on Amazon listings for these things. He was about $65, and that's great for a leader class. It's not the $44 that he'll be on the Big W sale in a couple of weeks' time. But you can't win them all, and it's not necessarily about getting things at the cheapest price possible. The other acquisition, which you might have noticed me wearing, is a hoodie that I purchased from a cosplay costume designer who creates Transformers themed hoodies. Her name is Aurora Nebbia, and you can commission your own Transformers themed hoodie from her for whichever character you like. She's got a rather large catalogue of them, and it was not a cheap thing to acquire, but I'm very happy with the end result. I will never be wearing this anywhere near any kind of food or anything. You might see me wearing it at Supernova. Or at a
but you won't be having any food or meals during that weekend at Supernova.
No, I will be taking it off and placing it to one side while eating, because I am very famously a grub when it comes to comes to food. And I can't possibly wear a Rodimus costume and have food smeared all over it.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Also, when we're talking about food stains on shirts, I always picture Dave Lister.
Yes,
3 curry stains. That's your best shirt.
Yeah, only 3. That's why it's the best.
Yeah.
So yeah, acquisitions quite light on this week. Let's just go headlong head first into the end of the podcast. There's a little bit of TCCA club news. We're going to stop taking memberships for the next month because it's very close to the end of the membership year. So I would say that we've gotten to about 230 members this year. It's been a bumper year. It's been our best year on record. So thank you everyone for your support of the club. We really appreciate it. We're going to post a bit of a year in review up shortly for everyone to see how we've done and give us some feedback and thoughts on what they'd like us to see change and do next year. You can also hear an interview with club president Simon Chambers that was taken at Supernova Melbourne on the ABC's Net Nerdzilla podcast. Episode 136 is online now. The hosts of that show were wandering around at Supernova recording interviews with people, and they managed to catch Simon for some time. We will be at Supernova Sydney in a couple of weeks' time, and hopefully at Oz Comic Con Melbourne, which might still be on next month, but we're not entirely sure, given that Melbourne is in COVID lockdown at the moment. We'll see how that goes. I don't think there's anything else that needs to be added before we bring the show to a close. Do you have anything else? No.
Nothing I can think of. Just looking forward to all of these releases.
Oh yeah. Well, so we should be seeing some Kingdom Wave 3 turning up in the next week or so. We'll see how we go.
Actually, with regards to the Big W sale, would that include Galvatron, or is he still a way away?
It's hard to say. Big W's been one of the places that got Studio Series 86 out first, so maybe they'll get Wave 3 in time. It's certainly not picturing Wave 3 in the catalogue. So
yeah,
make of that what you will. But if they do make it out, there should be some nice savings on them if they get into stores.
Yeah.
All right. That is it. Thank you for listening. If you're watching along with the live record, which we can see a few people have been, thank you very much for spending your Sunday afternoons with us, or at least an hour and a bit of your Sunday afternoon. You can find out more about these stories and more with links to them in the show notes. And get in touch with us on transformersweekly.podbean.com, the Australian Transformers Weekly Facebook page, or you can find Bradley and myself hanging out in the Transformers Collectors Club Australia on Facebook. You can subscribe to the podcast in your podcatcher of choice, and there's an RSS feed on the website if you can't find it anywhere else. We are a production of Transformers Collectors Club Australia, a registered club in Victoria run by volunteers donating their time, effort, energy, and Sunday afternoons to make Transformers collecting in Australia better for everyone. Our goal is to connect Transformers fans around the country. We do it by engaging the community, by publishing podcasts and going out to speak to people at Supernova and Oz Comic Con. You can find out more information about the benefits of membership, including importing a bunch of things like Kingdom Wave 3 and Netflix Wave 3 early, which is... I've got a pile of figures in my house, and how to show your support for what we do at transformerscca.com. Going off world, you can find Transformers Collectors Club Australia on Twitter. There's not really that much that happens on Twitter, but we do try to keep up with things. You can find me on Twitter at JM77, and you can find Bradley on Twitch at Groovy Guy Gaming. Bradley, do we get a follow account update on you from Twitch?
If you'd like one. It has sort of skyrocketed a bit again.
Yeah.
All right, so as of this very recording, I am currently on 1,118 followers.
Oh, that's great, because 2 weeks ago it was just breaking 1,000, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
And also, this is weird, because this is my first day off I've had from streaming in like 3 months.
Oh, yeah, you've been going hard at it, so... Yeah.
Yeah, so like the last couple of days I've accidentally been going like 8 hours and stuff, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to see what it's like to have a day off.
So thank you for taking your day off from streaming by spending it streaming with me. And also I believe you haven't done a hot tub stream yet.
I believe I won't be doing a hot tub stream.
Fair enough, fair enough. On that bombshell, it is time to end the show. That is all from us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we will be back with more Transformers news soon enough. Bye-bye.
Bye.